It is official, Disney and Lucasfilms are parting ways with Gina Carano, meaning she will no longer appear as Cara Dune on The Mandalorian. We thought it would be interesting to take a look at 10 women's MMA fighters who could potentially pick up her mantle as Cara Dune on The Mandalorian, on that planned spin-off show that's no longer happening. Now, before we get started, if you could please hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, leave a like on this video. That stuff goes such a long way to helping our channel grow. Now, without further ado, in no particular order, here are 10 women's MMA fighters who could replace Gina Carano on The Mandalorian. Number 10. Okay, let's get one of the most obvious ones out of the way, and that is former UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Ronda Rousey. Without a doubt, the most high-profile woman on this list, and really one of the two most popular fighters in all of MMA history, alongside the notorious one, Conor McGregor. When it comes to professional film and television credits, Ronda Rousey, without a doubt, the best choice on this list. Of course, she made that big crossover over the WWE, but she also has roles in Furious 7 as Cara, The Expendables 3 as Luna. She showed up in Entourage, Mile 22, and Charlie's Angels in 2019. She's also made the crossover to television before, showing up on 911 as Lena Bosco in 2019 and pretty brutally mangling her fingers and her hands. But just like Gina Carano, you know she's capable of doing her own stunts. She'd be a huge name to bring onto the show, and she seems to hate dealing with fans, particularly on social media, so I don't think you have to worry about her engaging in conversations that could get her in trouble. Oh, and let's not forget, she wouldn't even be the first WWE superstar to make the hop over to The Mandalorian. Of course, Sasha Banks appearing in Season 2. Number 9. Paige VanZant. Okay, this one is pretty obvious. Paige VanZant made her departure from the UFC, made the jump over to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and didn't do so well against Britain Hart, but she still has massive crossover potential. We've seen her compete very, very well on Dancing with the Stars. She's got a good look, she's personable, and if you just look at the numbers that BKFC content did compared to that week's fight night headlined by Alistair Overeem versus Alexander Volkov, Paige VanZant, enormous numbers. So she's the kind of person who, while committed to the fight game, she appears to have the potential, the name recognition, the social media presence, and sort of the connections already building to make an impact in Hollywood in the future. So why not a role on The Mandalorian? Number 8. Next up is perhaps my potential favorite pick, and that is Angela Hill. What a total badass strawweight she is, sort of developing that Donald Cerrone sort of presence of constantly fighting, being super active inside the cage, and to boot, I think she has a built-in audience where, while not as big as Paige VanZant or Ronda Rousey, is very clued into the sort of stuff that might translate well to the Star Wars universe. We already know is big into anime. She does tons of Street Fighter and video game themed cosplay at her weigh-ins and on social media. She podcasts, so you know she's got experience on the booth and on the mic. Can she act? Who knows, but I don't really quite know how great Paige VanZant's acting is either. I think Angela Hill checks off a lot of boxes. She caters to the right audience, and from personal experience, one of the nicest women I have met in the sport. So I'm all in on Angela Hill. Let's get her on The Mandalorian. Number 7. Amanda Ribas is the right choice, and I don't want to hear any protests. Now, lover or hater, at this point, it's safe to say that Gina Carano is a little bit of a controversial figure in the sport and the greater entertainment sphere. So why not someone who is almost unanimously loved? Amanda Ribas has the sort of personality that's already captured the imagination of fight fans, so why couldn't she replicate that as a social star in the Hollywood sphere? Let's inject a little bit of goodness and kindness and adorableness to go along with Baby Yoda. I think Amanda Ribas has it. Number 6. Megan Anderson. Megan Anderson is currently preparing for a fight with UFC women's featherweight champion Amanda Nunes, and apparently she's actually expressed some interest on social media in taking over for Gina Carano and playing the role of Cara Dune in The Mandalorian. Again, another girl who checks off a ton of boxes. She's got experience behind the microphone. She's got a great look. She's tough as nails, and let's say, not only does she have a good social media following, but if she beats Amanda Nunes, and I know she's the underdog, but if with the work of people like James Krause, she can come up with a game plan to wrangle that title away from the Lioness, she's poised to be a major UFC star and could kind of skyrocket up the list of contenders featured on this list. Number 5. Julie Kedzie. Now here's the throwback and kind of an interesting case when we talk about this whole saga of Gina Carano and social media and The Mandalorian, because the tweet and the subsequent backlash has sort of led to Carano's departure from Lucasfilms, Disney, and The Mandalorian coincided with the 14-year anniversary of her fight versus Julie Kedzie, the first professional women's mixed martial arts fight to air on national TV live in the US, and that was at Elite XC Destiny on February 10th, 2007. What a time. So if for no other reason than sort of giving a nod to Gina Carano's record-breaking, history-setting other half, let's get Julie Kedzie in there. Number 4. Claudia Gadhela. Now, this was actually pitched to me by another staff member, and basically leaning on the fact that they think that Claudia and Gina Carano share some similar facial features, that you might be able to plop her in there without people making too much of a fuss about the different face. I don't know if I quite see it, but I will give Claudia credit. She's a beast, a very personable person outside of the cage. And hey, we needed to get our quota of people on here, so if that's what it is, I'm not going to complain too much about it. Number 3. Valerie Loureda. Talk about a growing superstar in the sport of mixed martial arts. Only 22 years old, 3-0 as a professional, and she is already becoming one of the faces of Bellator. And look, she's got the social media game on lock. She's currently sitting at over 745,000 followers on Instagram alone. She knows how to market herself. She's got great charisma, great personality, and if you're looking for someone to sort of build off of, someone young, someone who you can groom into a long-term MMA entertainment crossover, Valerie Loureda, there you go. Number 2. Juliana Pena. Talk about sort of delayed potential. Pena was one of those girls coming off The Ultimate Fighter, won the bantamweight tournament back in 2013, and she seemed poised to make a real run up the division with 3 consecutive wins after winning tough. She came up short against Valentina Shevchenko in a main event fight night in 2017, but looking back on it, the Bullet's possibly the best to ever do it. Really close fights with Amanda Nunes notwithstanding. She fought Nico Montoya, won that fight, lost to Jermaine Durandamine, but bounced back really strong against Sarah McMahon. So while we don't know where Juliana Pena's sort of upper ceiling is as a mixed martial artist, you know she's got a good look, she's super personable, and she is a badass fighter. Most importantly, I think she checks off a lot of boxes for the role of Cara Dune. Why not put a little Venezuelan flavor in there? And number 1. And last but not least, let's go with Ashlee Evans-Smith. When you want to talk about a girl who's kind of got the it factor in terms of her presence online, I gotta give a nod to Ashlee Evans-Smith. I don't think she quite gets the recognition she deserves. She's got a tremendous look that I think really translates nicely for the badassery that is the character of Cara Dune on The Mandalorian. She's got over 100,000 Instagram followers. She's got the long hair with the side of her head shaven, lots of tattoos, punk rock, anti-establishment vibe to her. So I say give Ashlee Evans-Smith a shot. And that is all for today's video, folks. Let us know in the comments section, who did we miss? What other women's MMA fighters do you think could take up Gina Carano's role as Cara Dune on The Mandalorian? Or if you agree with us, let us know who your top choice is. One last reminder, if you can please subscribe, tap the notification bell, leave a like on this video. If you made it this far, I promise there's more content on the channel that you're going to enjoy. If you want to hit me up, you can do so at Shaq_Fu on Twitter. That's Shaq with a K. Most importantly, guys, stay safe, take care, have fun, and stay tuned for everything Fightful and so delightful. Peace out.